Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of your favorite pop culture podcast. As always, I am the co host of Devin Moore of More Sports. And over here right next to me is our host of the show, Kyle Crump. And then also to my other side of me, we have another special guest, Dr. Scream. And I'm going to give him the floor to introduce himself properly. Dr. Scream, the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm Dr. Screams from Let's Scream. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, X, anywhere there's social media. Dr. Screams will be there to help you figure out your pop culture obsession.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on the show. And I'm going to start us off with the first question. Oh, wait, Kyle, go ahead, Kyle.
We are Nerds and Sundries podcast. What are some things that you nerd out about?
Well, I know you guys like music, and do you guys like 80s music?
Yes.
80s movies?
Yep.
So, do you guys like 80s montages?
Yes.
There's this band called the Night Flight Orchestra. They just put out an album last week called Give Us the Moon, and it sounds like the Revenge of the Nerds meets Rocky V collided, and it's the best record, I think, of 2025. I don't know what else is coming out, but it's pretty good. You got to check that out. I was nerding out about that. Some vitamins. I like the red algae. I nerd out about that. What else do I nerd out about? Mike Patton is one of my big passions. I don't know if you guys know him from Faith No More, Mr. Bungle. I like that music. Movies, I watch every movie that comes out. So you can ask me about movies all day long. I'll probably know it somewhat. So
Okay.
those are some of the things, I guess. Candy, soda, fast food.
Oh, man.
Sorry, what?
The author Chuck Klosterman.
I do not.
He's a big pop culture writer, and he has a book all about the NFL, and it's pretty amazing because he breaks down like the plays, how it could be fixed, what's happening, and you realize there's a lot more production just like a movie than you would think. It's not as random as you would guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to put any conspiracy theories out there. I think football is great. I love it. I love the food taste. Just tomorrow, I can't miss a Corey Haim double feature. Come on. Don't care what's going on in the world. That takes priority. You guys ever seen Silver Bullet?
I have not.
Oh, man.
I have not.
It's not as good as The Lost Boys, but it's pretty good. You guys know Gary Busey?
Yes.
Yes.
Gary Busey fighting a werewolf. Come on.
Oh, okay.
What does that sound familiar?
How could that go wrong? It's a Stephen King, it's like a novella. So was it a full book?
Mm-hmm.
They turned it into a 90 book. It's pretty good. You guys have seen The Lost Boys, right?
Yes.
It's been a hot minute, but yes.
I think I've actually seen Silver Bullet now that I'm looking at the pictures.
Man, I kind of want to talk about Silver Bullet. It makes me want
to. Want a Coors Light? They used to have a Silver Bullet werewolf.
I'll look after the show. The Silver Bullet show sounds... The Silver Bullet train... It sounds familiar the more we talk about it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen that too. It's just been a minute.
Yeah, it's an oldie. It's from like 85. You don't realize he's at 40 years old. Jesus. That is a relic.
No, it's not a relic. We do a movie. Shout out to we also do a movie review podcast called Popcorn Buckets, where we review a new movie every Sunday. And we've been down the Universal Monster track as of this recording. Isn't that right, Kyle?
Mm-hmm.
Especially as of this year.
Excuse me. What did you guys think of the werewolf?
The 19.
Sorry.
Wait, which one?
The Leigh Whannell Wolfman that just came out.
I have not seen it yet.
Oh.
It looks good.
Excited. I'm excited.
I think people are upset that it's not an actual like remake of the Wolfman.
Well, 2010 had a really good remake, especially with the director cut.
The which
one? Yeah,
was?
We watched the director cut.
The 2010.
Oh, yeah, with the Benicio del Toro.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was really good.
There's that other wolf. There's another wolf movie out that came out like a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
God, what was that called? I think it's just called Werewolf, maybe?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, that movie's
that or Wolf.
There's like a punk rock werewolf that comes out of the bar and he's fighting forget. Don't ask me names. I don't know what his name was. The guy from the Purge movies. It was like Gremlins meets the Purge. It's pretty crazy. You should check it out.
Okay. God, speaking of an old series, and you just made me think of Gremlins. You remember Critters? Anybody remember Critters?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I've been watching those.
Mhm.
But boy, that third Critter movie did not age well.
Yeah. Those do not age. Chris Biggs slammed my finger. I almost cut my pinky off when I was 2 years old. Do you know who Chris Biggs is? He created all the Ghoulies.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Remember Ghoulies? That's another Critters-like movie. Like on the cover, the little
Yeah.
Ghoulies popping out of the toilet.
mm,
This guy also
Yes.
created Octopus for the Goonies that got cut out.
Oh, yeah.
Near our Goonies expert right here.
Oh yeah. We got a Goonies video coming out on YouTube called "Why Goonies 2 Hasn't Happened." Pretty exciting ride.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I just. Go
I
ahead, Kyle,
enjoyed a
sorry.
lot of your fun fact videos where it's like the history of like Doritos and stuff like that.
Oh well, thank you. Those are
I was
co-created.
also enjoying.
Oh, sorry. What?
I was also enjoying the. It was I just watched it last night. It's the video where they're like, it's the Goonies spoof.
Oh
Or it was
yeah,
like a Goonies ripoff.
the Goonie Boys.
That's it, Goonie Boys. And I was like, oh god. But that
Dude.
video was so great.
I watched that whole hour and 12 minutes on Tubi. Actually, I think I had a private copy of it, but man, whew, that's a bad movie. But you know, those guys, they put their effort into it. It's okay. It is what it is. I don't think they set out intentionally to compare it or name it the Goonie Boys. I think it had a different name. I think those distributors picked those movies up and slapped like a recognizable name on it to sell it. Works.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I watch all that Tubi garbage.
So do we.
The Killer Mickey Mouse movie.
Oh,
we need to
dude,
watch
that I've watched it on when it got to Tubi, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know why my hopes were high for that movie, but I was like, I'm disappointed in this. Like,
Well,
I don't. Go ahead.
there's Screamboat, and then
Ugh.
what's the one on Tubi? The one on Tubi is called Mousetrap.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That
That's
one.
the first one that came out. Then there's Screamboat, which is actually coming to theaters. And Screamboat stars David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown in the Terrifier movies. He's actually playing the Mickey Mouse in that. I know there's a lot of confusion between the two movies because they're both based on Steamboat Willie. I think there's a third one too, but there's two different Popeye ones coming out.
Yeah, and I love the Winnie the Pooh ones.
Oh,
The second one was so much better.
the second one is amazing. Did you guys
Yes.
see the now what is it called, the Poohniverse? And they have the third volume or the third chapter is the Neverland with Peter Pan. Have you seen that yet?
I seen it posted on Twitter, and I was just like, okay. But I like what they're doing.
That movie, let me tell you, that movie's a child abduction movie that is not a fantasy. And it like creeped me out. It was, I wouldn't say it's scary, but it made me sick in my stomach. I was like, what is this? It wasn't what it wasn't like Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. I mean, Tinkerbell is a drug addicted person that's chained into a basement. This Peter Pan is abducting kids and killing them. He kills a whole bus full of kids. You're just like, what am I watching? This is insanity. I didn't know how they're going to tie it into the Winnie the Pooh movies, because Winnie the Pooh, those creatures are supposed to be real. I know they look like masks and stuff, but pretty crazy.
Yeah, the Winnie the Pooh one, the second one, they went more in depth, and that one was crazy too. And I was like, hold up, we got a story for this, and I like it, and I'm excited for the third one. I actually need to rewatch the second one because the ending for the second one, it kind of flew over my head a little bit, and I was like, I got to rewatch this, but it's pretty good. It's better than the first one. The first one was terrible.
How did the second one end? These things come in one eye and out the other. I forget how it ended.
he survives, but then there was some weird plot point that set it up for 3. I was like, I have to rewatch it myself. I've only watched it once, and I was like,
2 has Tigger and has the rabbit.
mm,
And so part 3 is bringing out Rue and Kanga and Rue and the owl, I think.
yes.
Introducing
I
those.
think that's how they set it up. I'm like you. I have to rewatch it because I watched it once and I liked it, and I was like, I need to revisit it because they just announced the Pokemon, a killer Pokemon movie. Wouldn't we all love that?
Is there a killer Pokemon movie? No, not yet, right?
No, not yet. I wish.
Years for that one.
Listen, we're lucky to get Detective Pikachu, and we got Ryan Reynolds instead of Danny DeVito.
I don't know. Danny DeVito might have been better, maybe. No.
It definitely would be interesting.
It would have been. I would have not been upset if it was Danny DeVito because I just see a Pikachu be like, man, I want a sandwich, or he does his
I'm
his
just
famous
imagining
line.
there has to be a YouTube video where it's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia quotes over Pikachu.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm the trash man. Just throw out trash.
You should just go and make that right now. I'd watch that.
No, I can't do a Danny DeVito accent.
No, you just get the clips, the audio clips, and play it over.
Was the concept of Detective Pikachu, was that like the guy's dad was in the Pikachu?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how that worked out? Like the guy died and then he went into a Pikachu?
He didn't die, but he got put into a Pikachu.
That's weird.
Through like psychic powers, which didn't completely make sense.
Okay.
But there was like this whole plot with a Ditto and a secret organization trying to get control of Mewtwo.
I've only seen it.
People can't die in Pokemon. They only just pass on.
That's not true, Lavender Town.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there's like one graveyard.
Rattata.
Listen, we don't know. I'm not convinced that Gary threw his Rattata, his big giant rat, over a boat.
He didn't. He got killed on the boat, and he couldn't get to a healing station in time, so it...
To each their own. I don't believe it. It's a kid cartoon.
It was actually in the game, not the cartoon.
Never watched it or played the game. I've only seen that movie, Detective Pikachu. I remember that craze where everybody had their phone out and they were walking into walls and it looked like zombies in the park. That was all before COVID hit. Do you guys remember that? What was that? Viral?
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that was insane here in California. People were walking down the sidewalk, just like... First time we seen him, I was with a friend. We're like, what is going on? Did we get invaded by zombies? Didn't know. We were at the park, and there's at least 100 people in the park doing that. Pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah. That must have been the year of the Pokemon. That must have been the year of the first Pokemon Fest.
Did it look something like this?
Yeah, I think so. I never played it. But I remember I was walking my dog, and this lady ran up to me, and she goes, oh, my God. Is so-and-so here? And I don't remember. It was like some Pikachu name, but I didn't know what she was asking me. And she looked like somebody had fallen off a bike and got hurt or something. I'm like, lady, what's the matter? Are you okay? And she's like, oh, I heard so-and-so's here. And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? And I found out she was just looking for a Pokemon in the park and thought I knew where it was. Those things are still around, I think. I think you can still find them. Go to the movie theater and see them hanging out.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we're traveling to games and stuff, when we're the kids driving to the games and stuff, I just pull out my phone. I start playing on the bus because like you're just on I-75, and I'm just like looking or hitting the HPs, and the kids are like, Coach Dev, are you playing Pokemon Go? Yeah, we got like a 45-minute bus ride. What do you think I'm gonna do?
Now you get a little deeper, and you're like, maybe I need to step away from that. Oh, you know what's weird? Maybe you guys are into anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just found out about Poonaru, and I was like, that's dangerous ground to be touched on too. There, Poonaru, the cute slime.
There is an anime that is coming out. My wife is an elementary school student.
It's bad.
It's about a woman that dies and she gets reincarnated and she's an elementary school student. And so she finds the husband and tries to like keep the relationship going
Oh yeah.
while being in elementary school. Um, and they have to like keep it secret and all this. And a
That
lot of people aren't happy about it.
that's pretty. Yeah, that's walking down a road I don't want to go touch.
Yeah.
There was that movie 18 again with Zac Efron and Matthew
Mhm.
Perry. Kind
Yeah.
of. I mean, at least he was in high school, but it goes. He's in high school and he's got to find his middle-aged wife and fall in love with her again. It's kind of
Mhm.
similar, stealing it from that, but going down dark paths. I don't dabble in anime too much. We're doing a video on slime. That's why I found out about Punaru, and then there's another one called like I was reincarnated as a slime.
As a slime, yep.
Yeah, as a slime.
They've got a couple other reincarnated ones. Like I was reincarnated into like a cockroach and a bunch of others. It's like a whole genre for some reason.
Well,
Yeah, or,
it was like back in the 1950s or 60s. They had a TV show called My Mother is a Car.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the mother dies and comes back as a car. It was like a half-hour sitcom.
Hmm.
Okay, you can watch it on YouTube. This is a real show that was like on CBS. Some weird stuff. So it's all old ideas. They just dance it up with something new.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds like a sitcom. I know there's a podcast. It's like a mini podcast where it's his wife dies, like as they're going through a divorce, and she gets put into a smart car, and it's like a whole like mini
Oh my God.
series.
Oh,
I do remember that. Oh,
It's like a mini series podcast.
Oh, you know what? There's a Ben Stiller Jack Black pilot that's been going around since at least maybe the late '90s, and you know Jack Black and Ben Stiller, right? And
mhm.
I think Ben Stiller wrote it or directed it, but it's Owen Wilson and Jack Black is an astronaut and he gets put inside a motorcycle.
Yep.
And then it's like a Croft TV show where the motorcycle and Owen Wilson are running around fighting crime.
Yeah, I thought it was an SNL skit when I first saw it.
Yeah, you can watch the whole show on YouTube, I think. Like the whole half-hour pilot.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry, we're 90 babies to early 2000 kids, so like we know who Ben Stiller and Jack Black is.
Yeah.
I mean, they've become pretty popular. I'm sorry, I'm trying to plug up my computer because it's about to die.
Yeah, don't have. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and ask the second question. I'm sorry, sometimes we go on tangents here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take you off on a tangent.
Oh no! Trust me, that's what we want here.
The other day,
what
I
has
was
been
thinking about that. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I was thinking about that Ben Stiller Jack Black movie where they invent the poo spray and they spray it on the turds and the turds disappear.
Oh.
And then, at the time, Roger Ebert was a big critic. And, like, do you know Roger Ebert? And he took issue with this movie because he was like, well, where did the turds go? It was really funny. I don't know if you guys remember that movie at all. I don't even remember what that's called.
Okay.
Gosh.
Yeah, no. I remember it vaguely because, again, I also remember coming across it around the same time as the bike one. I was like, oh, is this an SNL skit? Because, again, they're both big comedians. And I was like, oh, no, this is not. They
weird.
Yeah. My second question is, what haunted house has scared you the most?
Well, I am somebody that I can't go in haunted houses because they petrify me so bad. They leave me crawling on the floor, screaming. The one that scared me the most, I was living out in Tennessee with my girlfriend at the time. She's no longer my girlfriend, but she knew I hated these haunted houses, like so bad. I hate them because it just scared the hell out of me. She took me out to this like rural farm where it was like acres, and you walk through this spooky house and they let you out the back door, and then these people chase you through the woods for like an hour. And it was the most horrifying experience I've ever had in my life. And like, you're dirty, you're covered in mud, you're crawling on the ground. there was one part where we came to like a ravine, and the only way to get to the other side, there was this hearse that had the back door open, and you had to crawl in through the coffin, over the coffin, and into the back seats of the hearse and out the window. And of course, there's somebody in the coffin, there's somebody in the seat, so you're like trying to get through there. They're grabbing you, pulling you. That's the worst thing I've ever experienced. I have no idea what that place was called. It's like McNeary's Farm or something local. So these people aren't sanctioned. They're not SAG actors like at Universal. They're just petrifying. That's the worst thing ever. Now, if you're talking about Halloween Horror Nights, yes, we've covered Halloween Horror Nights for years now, and I have to go to those. I'm kind of used to those, so they don't scare me as bad. Sometimes they still get me. This year, this past year, I liked the Ghostbusters one. I thought that was pretty good. Trying to think, did you guys go to the Halloween Horror Nights this year?
No, it's on the bucket list. I'm just with my coaching job from like August to like November. I have no free time.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was a little disappointed in this past year, but it was all right. I thought it was cool. I can't remember. Like, you know what happened that day that we went this year? It was the hottest recorded day in California history, I believe. And it was like, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it was at least like 113 during the day at some point that day. And so we waited, and the sun wasn't down yet, and I went with the co-creator of Let's Scream and Dr. Screams. There's another guy I work with. I'm just in front of the camera, but there's two people doing what we do, and we both went with his lady, and it was miserable because we were just so hot and sweaty, and you get through these things, and like it's like being in a little oven. So yeah, that's maybe why my idea of this year was tainted, because it's so hot. But yeah, I would say that just a random farm in it was outside of Nashville. The scariest haunted house I've ever seen. What about you guys? I know you guys got some big ones out there in Atlanta. I know Ohio is big for haunted houses.
What is it? Hold on. Let me look at the name real quick.
See, when you said out in the woods, there was one growing up called Camp Blood, and it was same concept, but it was a more open field. And obviously people would take off the blades for the chainsaw, so you see like the Jason Voorhees cranking up the chainsaw, chasing you through the meadows. I'm like you. I don't do like I'm like you now, where like I can go do the Universal stuff because they're not gonna touch me.
Yeah,
and stuff.
They still pretty close at Universal.
Yeah. Well, I also worked at Six Flags Over Georgia in college, and that horror night, when the zombies stuff was big, it's not bad, but when The Walking Dead got big, they hired so many zombie actors. Oh, man.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't find the name, but I can give you a good description. So we're in the Bible Belt. So there are Bible themes.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. There's Bible themes like tribulation thing, I think is what it's called, where they try to scare you into like believing. And it's like a whole big thing where the rapture, all that, the end times.
There's a documentary about that, about those haunted houses. I remember they had them in Oregon. It's like a chick track. Do you know what a chick track is? You ever seen those things? They're these like little like comic books, and they have these like biblical stories in them, but they're horrifying. They scared me so bad as a kid. And like just a couple of months ago, I found one in the park, and it was brand new. And I was like, "Oh my god, they're still making these things!" Like they talk about like Revelations, and you're going to hell, and you shouldn't do this and do that. And you're like, and then they made those haunted houses just like a chick track.
There is a D&D movie. I don't remember the name, but it's basically like a 1-for-1 of one of the chick tracks about how when you play D&D. You're worshiping the devil and all that, and then at the end of it, the girl just ends up dying because she was playing D&D and it was evil.
No, you brought up Six Flags. There's Six Flags here, and the last 2 years I did go to their Scarefest. I forget, a Screamfest, maybe it's called.
Scarefest, Screamfest, same thing. Yeah,
that is terrifying here. Because again, it's non-SAG actors. They're like who knows who's inside these haunted houses? They do grab you. There's like there's cop cars located all throughout the park. There's like 3 people with AK-47s standing out in front of the thing, and all these kids are like snuck in alcohol, so they're getting drunk, they're getting rowdy. The haunted houses themselves are put together in such a crazy way that like you don't know what to expect. You feel like you're in danger walking through these things. I know if you look it up on YouTube this year, before they allowed no cameras in there, right? Because we were going to go in there and shoot, and they were no, take your stuff back to the car. You can't come in here. This last year, they let people in on the first night. Watch some of those videos because everybody had a miserable experience. But I like that. I like when people are having a miserable experience. It makes me laugh. Not like doom, not like death, that kind of stuff. I'm talking about when people are just like complaining because they're miserable. This isn't any fun. That stuff makes me laugh. And these people were miserable. So on this first day of the Six Flags here in California, I forget what it's called.
Yeah, no, ours in Georgia is like, see,
It's
ours
much
in
more
Georgia.
tame.
Yeah, that's much more tame than that. It's like the crazy. See,
At least
obvious.
half of the park is scare actors.
Yeah.
They'll have some special little stuff like
Mm-hmm.
you can like experience getting buried alive. There's a haunted the trolley train thing. Typically,
Yeah.
it's like a western stick up.
Oh yeah, the train. The scariest thing is the train. Like they like
Yeah.
monsters, like zombie actors will like come through and spook you. It's
Hold on a minute.
Can I stop you guys just for a sec? Is it okay to pause?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one quick second. Sorry.
What, Kyle?
Sorry. Are you guys able to edit that out?
Yeah, I
Yes.
edited it out.
Okay. Sorry.
Devin, remind me next time. There's a pause feature. I need to learn. See what happens when we click it.
Sorry. That was my co-collaborator, my co-creator. He has something new he wanted me to watch, and he gets like, "Where are you? What are you doing?" Because I want to watch it. He gets antsy. Cut that.
Sounds
part.
like somebody I know.
See, for me, you're looking at him and not me.
Oh really? Hold up. Let me fix
Yeah.
it. Sounds like somebody I know.
You are just looking off screen. I'm at the very bottom.
See, for me, Dr. Scream, she's to my left and you're to my right. That's why I said, sounds like somebody I know.
Yeah, that's the way I was looking over here, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I'm not in the right place." But anyways, you can go back. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you good.
Fine.
Go ahead, Kyle. Or it was tame with special characters.
What?
Six Flags where it was tame with the special characters. You were telling them that.
Oh, sorry. I got so distracted. So yeah, it's a lot more tame. The train is probably the most scary thing. There is so going into the Gotham area, I think that's one of where the bigger scare actors are, because it's very well hidden. It's shady, so they'll have people that will like lunge at you and like slide across the ground and shoot sparks and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll come up like right to you.
Yeah, like they're like, yeah, it's not a fun time. But you're making the one out in California sound worse. Sounds like I would pee my pants.
Six Flags, yeah, it's the worst thing I've ever been to. It's fun. I mean, you can still ride all the rides too. That's the other thing. I mean, they have like the biggest roller coasters and all of that stuff. You can still do all of that. Well, because I think they only have like 6 haunts. The haunts aren't very big. It doesn't take long to go through.
No, it never does. It's more like the way they market it to me, it's more like, hey, during the day, give the kids candy, look, Superman, go home at night. Hey, we're going to chase you with a fake machete.
Yeah, but you have like real people in there chasing you with a machete. That's
Yeah,
why all those cops with the AK-47s hanging out everywhere. So
I'm telling you.
you find like empty. What do you like? Like buzz balls, that kind of stuff. Empty containers.
Mm-hmm.
All the liquor, empty beer cans. All these kids sneaking in. You're like, how did you get that in here with the light of the metal detector going off? I don't know. So they're having a good time. I'm not.
Hmm.
I don't want to go back. But my friend always convinces me to go. Always does the thing where it's like, hey, you can get the year pass cheaper than you can buy a day pass. You
No.
buy the year pass and never use it again. Yeah.
Hmm.
Since I've done that 2 years in a row.
Yeah, you
I
get
think
so
I've been
busy.
back since.
It's sat in the back of my brain right now. I ate so many of those. And I can't eat bananas. I'm like, why did I do that to myself? You want to know an interesting science fact? When you buy a candy that is banana flavored, you realize it doesn't taste like a banana, right?
Mhm.
Did you know that there was a banana that actually tasted like that, and it's no longer on the market?
Mhm.
Is that common knowledge?
I
Not
thought
for
it
me.
was.
Not for me.
I didn't know this until like a month ago. I was like, what? There's a banana that tasted like banana candy? Because I like the taste of banana candy, man.
Yeah, the banana thing was like a whole thing back in like the 50s,
Yeah.
like 40s. That was like a when they had the banana stuff. So some sources say that it tasted more like that. Of course, most banana farms now are like 1-per-1 clones.
Yeah, they're all genetically altered bananas.
Yeah, and so you could devastate the economy if you walked in there with just like some dirt on outside dirt on your shoe or bacteria, because it could ruin the entire crop and devastate the banana industry.
It's crazy. Let's
Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
I don't care. Bananas make me sick, so I can't eat them.
Yep.
I've had 2 bites of a banana my entire life. One of the bites was covered in chocolate. What you needed to know about Dr. Screams is he can't eat bananas. No.
It's okay. I'm allergic to bananas.
I just ever since, like I said, like you said, ever since I've had the banana split Dippin' Dots, and I just and then sometimes it's just a texture thing for me. That's it. Like I don't mind banana flavor, but it's like the texture of an actual banana when you bite into it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, not good. This is the anti-banana podcast. Get those bananas out of
put
here.
that. Go ahead, Kyle, with the next question.
What has been the coolest Halloween decoration you have found?
Well, that's a tough one too. Coolest Halloween decoration. You know, I'm going to go with that giant skeleton.
Mhm.
These things are everywhere. They're pretty cool. Do you know what I'm talking about? This like
Yeah.
2-story skeleton people have in their yards. People leave them
And
up here.
they'll put like mirror reflectors on it, or like put lights in the eyes.
I remember somebody did like a ad in their yard that was life size. That was pretty cool.
Mhm.
And whoops, somebody did some decoration. I don't know. I don't really have too many Halloween decorations at my house, really, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any downstairs. I'm trying to think. I don't know. You know, they put out the terror dogs, a life-size terror dog from Ghostbusters. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, Spirit Halloween's always got cool stuff. I have this. So maybe this is my favorite because this is in here in the light. Do you know what this is?
I do not. Wait a minute. Is that?
Wait, is that from Killer Clown? That's from Killer Clown from Space.
Yeah, it's
That's the gun they use.
Yeah, it's the cotton candy gun, I think. So that I love that. They had the popcorn bazooka, but I couldn't find one of those. Like you fill it up.
Okay, yeah.
So that I think that's my favorite Halloween prop. Since it's sitting here in this stuff, we seldom use it, but it's here.
Golly, the Killer Clown from Space. That's like the one movie. Every time I think about it, I'm like, that's a fever dream. And then I find out, then I remember it's always a real movie, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Because that movie starts from 0 to 60 like really fast.
That movie's just tight. It's a tight 90 minutes craziness. But you know, the storyline is basically the same as The Blob. Like, watch The Blob and then watch Killer Clowns. It's the same movie.
No, I think we did make that comparison on our movie podcast, Popcorn Buckets, when we did watch the original Blob.
I've never seen the clown movie.
You've never seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Oh my gosh.
I have not. Only thing I know is what Devin has told me.
Gotta see it. And then they reuse some of the clowns for Ernest Scared Stupid. tournament.
I
Oh,
did
yeah,
know that actually. I did know
Yeah.
that fact.
that movie used to scare me as a child.
The Kyoto brothers. That's one of the things
Uh,
I'm really bad at is I pronounce everybody's name wrong. So like I have a video out there with the Killer Clown creators, and I kept calling them the Kyoto brothers because that's what it looks like it's spelled, but it's the Kyoto brothers. So
Yeah, Devin does that too.
Yeah, don't worry.
it's fun.
You're not the only one. Trust me. Try to go up to a recruit that you recruited and you've talked through social media, and then you're just like, "Hey, it's good to see you, Bob. Coach, my name's Jimmy." Oops.
I do that all the time. I just pretend like I know the name and don't say it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, don't embarrass yourself on our official visit. Uh,
Yeah.
speaking of fun facts, here, our host Kyle loves off the wall fun facts. What's one of the off the wall fun facts that you like to bring up a lot that a lot of people don't know about?
Well, the banana one was my new one. Did you know that there's new Mandela effects? People get mad when I talk about this. It was the original Mandela effects are mostly affected, I would say, millennials are the ones that knew about it the most. And like the little kids coming up, they hear Mandela effect and they see some of the Mandela effects and they're like, nah. I grew up with the alternate universe version of this, so it's not my Mandela effect. Like in September of last year, they did CERN Run 4 over in Switzerland, a Hadron Collider. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but a bird flew into some of the wires and caused an explosion there, which did cause, you can see the video, it caused like portals opening up there in Switzerland. And I told people, I said, listen, there's going to be new Mandela effects coming out. And people were like, what? And then all of a sudden, yep, new Mandela effects coming out, like whiteout. Look at the label for whiteout. Everybody's like, oh, that's weird.
Mhm.
So, whiteout's the only one I've got on my mind right now, but there's a bunch. There's like at least 4 new ones that are affecting kids. Kids are like, oh, now I get what the Mandela effect is. So, I bring that Mandela effect stuff up all the time because I'm obsessed with these alternate universes. I felt like I went through one this morning because stuff was going on that was not quite right. Blame it on another universe shift. Yeah, I know it's all. No one believes in that stuff really, but is it happening? It could be.
I think it's interesting. Devin, we did an episode on it, and Devin's like, it doesn't exist. And I'm like, I really thought you would be on board with this one.
I just don't believe it.
Well,
Cause like,
is it
go ahead.
because like you don't like the Mandela effects, like you recognize them and think that's the way it always was? Is that why?
Yeah, but I also take it from like a marketing standpoint because again, right? You can market different things based on different regions and things like that. I'm like, and then of course it doesn't help with the media, right? And social media, right? We can all take an image and change like one letter and be like, ooh, like Looney Tunes used to have like, I think Looney Tunes is one of them where it's like
Yeah,
Looney or it was like Tunes was like actually Tune,
yeah.
something like that. Isn't that one of them?
Well,
Yeah,
everybody
I'm like,
thinks it was supposed to be TOONS, but it's
yeah,
TUNES. But that also comes from what is it? There's another thing that's called Tunes with actually TOONS. Yeah,
yeah.
that is
That's
one.
how. Yeah, that's how I take it. I'm like, guys, anybody can. Not saying that the Mandela effect's not real, but to me, it's like, dude, anybody can. We live in a society where we can take almost anything and mold it to what we want. So that's why I'm like, okay. But there are some where I'm like, wait a minute, it's not how I remember it.
Yeah.
So I'm a smartness when it comes to Mandela effect.
There's some weird ones. I've done a lot of research into it. Spooky stuff going on over there. Every actor that's visited CERN has Mandela effect, so figure that one out. There's you can find pictures of Tom Hanks at CERN looking at the Hadron Collider, and then all of a sudden you have Forrest Gump Mandela effect, or there's a couple with him, or Sally Field. Sally Field, people think it was Sally Fields. Her Oscar speech is different. Her Forrest Gump movie is different. But did you know her brother is one of the main scientists at CERN?
Ah, okay.
So you look at that and you think, why does Sally Field have so many Mandela effects? your brother works there. There's an interesting interview where Sally Field talks about it with David Letterman. Check
Mhm.
that out. So you tell some people, oh yeah, Sally Field's brother is a scientist and he works at CERN. They're like, sure, buddy. But yeah, there's proof. He talks about it. There's videos of him. He making fun of it. That's always a tell too when they're like making fun of it because they're like telling you to your face because it's so ridiculous that they think you won't believe it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like I've got an elephant sitting here, and you guys are like, sure, that guy's got an elephant. And then I really have an elephant, that kind of thing. Elephant. But yeah, I like talking about the Mandela effect. I guess it's interesting to me. But what did you say? A weird facts?
Fun
Yes.
fact.
Fun fact. Sorry.
That's a good question. Oh, I have so many floating around, because we do these shorts all the time. So they come up so randomly that like I always finding something new and weird. But like lately, I don't know.
Okay.
I think I've run dry on facts for the moment.
That's okay. You can always do what I do in popcorn buckets and just give unsolicited fun facts anytime it pops into your head.
Yeah,
God, yes.
that I'd like to do. Yes.
God. When we did Pirates of the Caribbean, God was like, buckle up. I'm going to explain scurvy to you.
I didn't explain scurvy. I did explain, what is it? Kneel turning. It's where it's a pirate punishment. It's like most of your punishment. It's where you have 2 bits of rope tied to both of your hands and you're pulled underneath the ship and there's barnacles. You
Oh,
could
I saw
drown.
a video about that just recently.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that looks horrible.
Yep. You could be torn up. You could drown. If you come out alive somehow, you're off scot free.
Do you know why the Pirates of the Caribbean smells so good? The ride?
Ooh,
I do
wow.
not.
Because they use
I
bromine
forgot.
in their water instead of chlorine. And
Mhm.
bromine has this like delicious smell.
Yeah.
There's like independent people like on Etsy and stuff that make bromine smelling candles or like that water. It used to be in Splash Mountain too. Well, I guess Splash Mountain's still alive. Did they rename Splash Mountain? I know they pulled all the rare rabbit out of there and put in the Princess and the Frog or something.
Yeah, they call it something different. It's not called Splash Mountain anymore, but they just, like you said, they pulled the rabbit out of there, and it's like, I haven't seen Princess and the Frog, but I think her name's Tiana.
Yeah, Princess
Tiana.
something. Yeah, it's like Tiana's Log Ride. It's like you said, they just kind of made it like Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, I don't remember why they named it.
If it's bromine, how do they get by with the corrosiveness?
I don't know. I just know it has bromine in it. There's other stuff in there. The smell that you smell is bromine. So I don't know what else is in the water.
It's like highly corrosive, so you have to be careful how you store it. Typically, in liquid form is how sometimes they'll store it, and they'll put it in a vial, and they have to seal it off because of the gases. Let's see. Next question. On your YouTube, you explore Bendy and the Ink Machine, Doritos, Five Nights at Freddy's, Super Mario, and much more. What is a franchise you're interested in exploring?
Next that we haven't?
Mhm.
Gosh. That's a good question I'm trying to figure out right now. Because I have a list of stuff I want to do. Nothing really coming to mind right now. I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't have an answer for any of your questions. What franchise? So, I don't think I would do a video on American Pie, but I've been watching those movies. There's some interesting things there. I just got into trying to watch the Battlestar Galactica movie and the Buck Rogers movie and these crazy movies that they were TV pilots and they decided to put them into the movie theater just to bank on Star Wars. That's interesting to me. That stuff. I don't know if you guys remember, like Battlestar Galactica came out and they aired the whole season and then it got canceled. And Universal was like, man, we lost a ton of money on this show. Here's a great idea. Let's stick the pilot episode back in theaters. And so they played it like they changed the soundtrack So it was surround sound, Forenza sound. I'm not saying that right. Some kind of weird sound that they redid. It was the last movie that had it. Sensorround sound. I don't know. I had this crazy like rumble track, and it was the last movie to ever have that. But I remember going to see that in the theater, and I was like, "Hey, this is just the TV show." I felt totally ripped off. I had no idea. I thought it was like a new Battlestar Galactica movie. And I'm like, that's the same stuff they just showed on TV. But they did the same thing. Buck Rogers, they showed in theaters before they brought it to TV.
Really?
It was intended for TV. And there's a couple more like that. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting to me.
You know, one of the videos I've enjoyed, I stayed up late last night watching your Five Nights at Freddy's one. And I am so excited for Freddy's 2.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2, yes.
Because I'm like you. I think, and this is my theory, just going back watching your stuff, because you raise a good point. I kind of agree with you. I think for the third one, they're going to release the rock band, the Glam Rockers.
The Glam Rockers are actually teased in a carousel that's featured in part 2. Some of the characters are on a carousel, but I don't think you're going to actually see the animatronics in those yet. I think they're
no, I'm kind of like you. I'm like, there's got to be part 3, and then part 2. You raise a good point in that video. I feel like because the movie does a good job with like the theory of Dream World, right? Where the security guard's name Mike in the first one. Is it Mike?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Schmidt.
I was gonna watch it last night. When I was watching your video, I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch the movie last night. But then I ended up falling asleep after I got done with those videos. And I think you're right. I think we're gonna see a more prequel movie in it during the dream sequences this time.
I think it's gonna be cut back and forth because Matthew Lillard's in it a lot. So we're definitely going to see him in the past. We're going to see flashbacks with him. But I also heard his soul is trapped in Chica. Nah, it can't be Chica.
Golden Bonnie.
Gold Bonnie.
Okay, yeah. They said
I think that's right.
Yeah, his soul is trapped in there this time. I don't think that's game lore, right? It's like going off.
I don't think his soul is trapped in it in the game, if I'm remembering correct. But he was the main one in the suit, and so that's
in the
how
first
he
one,
was
like the movie
about.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because he was originally the Purple Man. The lore does get crazy, but he was originally the Purple Man. He was a serial killer known as the Purple Man, and the bite did happen. So the movie does a good job about talking about the first game.
Yes, and then the bite follows the game where the kid is in his house scared because it's theorized his brother put him in the mouth of
Freddy,
Foxy.
I think. Foxy.
Foxy or Freddy, I forget which one.
Yeah, because all the people were mad at me about the puppet, like Garrett being the puppet. And I was like,
no, I could see it.
Well, I was like, the movie, it's not the game. Because they were like, that's not the way it goes. And I'm like, well, they changed stuff up for the movie, but I don't know. Some people didn't understand that I was talking.
No, they would change stuff for the movie.
Yeah,
they would definitely. Or what would be the point of buying a movie ticket? But I agree with you because it kind of makes sense. It's like, dude, you raised a good point. I'm kind of excited because I started watching it last night. I was like, you raised a good point. If Garrett was murdered and he put what stops putting his soul in the puppet versus everybody else's that got murdered, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well,
and again,
gotta stick with what the characters they have.
And then if he was a little kid, guess what? Little kids are going to act immature, right? I think you said like one of them stole a plane. Yeah, the daughter had the plane, right? Was the plane?
Yeah, the what's her name? Gosh, it's been so long since I've watched the movie. Lily,
Matthew Lillard's daughter.
Yeah,
the daughter had the plane.
She had the plane when she was a little kid. Yeah.
Veronica?
No, her name.
Vanessa.
Gosh, I used to have all of this memorized so well.
Yeah.
I know. I like how I was watching the video last night. I was like, oh, all this makes sense. And now I'm sitting there like, oh.
Yeah, Mike and Garrett, I remember them, and I don't remember what her name is.
We'll just call her Lady Number 2 or Bad Guy. I mean, it just makes sense to me. I'm like,
here that tells me.
oh man,
It'll all come flooding back when I see it. Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
I will say that. What were your thoughts on the animatronics? I thought the animatronics were pretty good for the movie.
I thought that was my favorite part of the movie, and I wish there had been more. That's all I want to see. I'm like, I want to just see animatronics. I don't care about any of these human beings. And it was cool at Halloween Horror Nights. They had the real animatronics they used in the movies there, so you could
Oh, okay.
see them in person. That was pretty cool. I was like, these things are dope.
You know, the only thing I was disappointed in is I was hoping Matt Pat would have a bigger role.
Well, he's supposed to have a big role in the sequel. He's coming back, I think.
I hope.
You don't think?
I saw in one of the videos too. You were like Markiplier apparently said something, but I'm not a big Markiplier fan.
I think Markiplier was. I know he was supposed to be in the first one. He was going to play the security guard at the beginning of the movie, and then he couldn't because he's making Iron Lung. And then what is it? He's supposed to be in the second one, but then I heard rumors that he didn't actually make it. He couldn't make it there to be in the second one. This was like recent. So I don't know if they're trying to keep that like hush hush, and then he comes and when I saw that in the theater, oh god, everybody. I saw it on opening night, and everybody was cheering for all of those, every cameo.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, no, I had Peacock. I was one thing I kind of like how Peacock did it was, or how Universal did it. You either had theaters or you had Peacock. So I just watched it on opening night at Peacock, which I'd like to.
Yeah, I probably should have. I dragged a friend who not necessarily liked those types of movies.
Well, after I got done watching the movie, I was like, oh, I should have watched it in theater. It would have been cool to watch in theaters.
It was fun to see in the theater. Yeah, it was fun to be there with the audience that was into it on opening night because they were having a good time. Even though I know there's complaints about the movie, the human stuff goes on a little too long. There needs to be more Freddy and his pals. That's my opinion about those movies. More kill.
The only thing I thought was weird is when they were making a pillow fort with Bonnie.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I thought that was out of left field. I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah. People change these things. I was trying to look as let's see here. Vanessa, that's what her name is.
Oh, okay, Vanessa.
Yes. Corey Kenshin, he's supposed to return. There was a couple other dudes I saw that were coming. I forget who they are. Some new guys. They're bringing in some cameos. But it's all like Toy Bonnie and Toy Freddy. Those are all the main ones they're using to promote the movie. But I think there's going to be some big surprises in there, aside from what they're showing people right now.
The one character I didn't even think about, you also mentioned in your video, was the Balloon Boy.
Oh,
I forgot all about him, and then I was like, oh, I did forget. I remember the scene where the main character, Mike, just took the toy and he just flipped it. And I was just like, oh, that is creepy. But then I was like, oh, I forgot about Balloon Boy.
Yeah, that's the big jump scare in the movie. The two of them. The first time Balloon Boy is there, and then right at the end when Corey Kenshin comes back and he's in the seat with him.
Dude, the biggest jump scare of that. What was the jump scare? There was one scene in that movie that made me jump. Oh, it was the cupcake. And it's the first time I was watching it. It was when the cupcake was in the fridge when they were like, okay, we're going to go rob the place. And it's just sitting there with its eyes closed, and all of a sudden it does the whole, and I said, whoa. That was my jump scare.
Well, the thing is the beginning hour of Banana Splits is awful. But the second half of the Banana Splits is amazing. And I was like, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie didn't top the second half of the Banana Splits movie, and it needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know that the Banana Splits used an old script from Five Nights at Freddy's that somebody threw in the trash. That's true. I forget where that's at Warner Brothers, the Banana Splits, because it's what is the Banana Splits? It's Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they had Five Nights at Freddy's was over there for a while before they lost it, and they kept one of the scripts and just retooled it. Beat them to the punch. You guys have seen Banana Splits, right?
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, see, I was obsessed with Banana Splits when I was a kid, and they weren't around killing anybody. They were wacky. Like, they were...
Yes.
Banana Splits weren't at Six Flags, but they were at another theme park that was like Six Flags. Forget what that called. It's It was on the Brady Bunch at
Um,
theme park.
it's not Universal.
It's got
Um,
some weird name. I forget what it is. I don't even know.
oh
What it's called
gosh,
anymore. It's like Great America or something.
I think you're right. I think it's Great America.
Yeah, because the Banana Splits are in the Brady Bunch episode. So, and then Six Flags used to have its own mascot, a little green blobby thing that walked around.
See, I don't remember the green blobby thing. Down here in Georgia, we only remember the old man. We had the old man.
The old man. That's See, green blob. God, what was it? I wish I had a brain anymore. I'm like, what's that green blob called? It was like called Bloop or something. But if you watch Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, the mascot is in there. That was shot at the California Six Flags. Kiss Meets the Phantom
Okay.
of the Park. So,
Hey, speaking of beloved franchises, TMNT.
yeah.
If you could write TMNT 4, how would you write it?
TMNT 4, I would go back to the original movie and continue it with those same puppets. I would get Jim Henson back in there and do it like live style like that. No CGI. The CGI turtles look awful no matter what you do with them. They need to be real live action, like you could touch it and feel it and see it. They need to go like the Ronin route, which I think they might be doing that. I think they're making a Ronin comic book or a movie based on that.
They're making a video game.
I thought they were making a movie too. I saw that a movie was coming out. I think it might be animated. But I would go back to the original run of the comics and do like all of those characters live action as opposed to like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shell or Out of the Shadows. What was that second one called? The Michael Bay. Whew,
Yeah, Out of the Shadows.
Well, the turtle stuff is okay, but I don't know. There's too much Megan Fox and Will Arnett running around in those two movies. What the heck is Whoopi Goldberg doing in my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? That's the last person I want to see in Ninja Turtles movies, Whoopi Goldberg. I'm like, why? Why do you need to be here?
I mean, and this is going to sound crazy, but I liked his adaptation of it. Kind of makes sense, but I also see what you're saying. It needs to be more realistic, right?
Well, the
original ones
are cool. I guess I enjoyed them on a certain level, but I just like the the 90s live action. And by part 3, they were just cheaping out on the costumes. So that's why the costumes look so goofy in part 3. They go back in time.
Yeah, no. Back in Time is not a fan favorite. Which one do you think is better, 1 or 2?
Oh, 1, definitely. 2 is just like sugared up because they took out all the parents were complaining too much, so there's no they never use their weapons into. I mean, there's some clever uses of yo-yos and stuff, and I know Vanilla Ice shows up, but yeah, I'll go 1.
Oh God, my old head coach used to, or my old boss used to. We had morning practices, and he used to blast Ice, Ice, Baby. So at 5 o'clock in the morning, you just hear, "I wake up in the morning," and I'm like.
Oh, no.
And then he would play Go Ninja, Go Ninja, go, and we'd be like 20 minutes into practice. I'm like, oh God, help me. I'm in my own personal hell.
That cartoon that came out, I thought was amazing. I like that. That last movie.
Yes.
That was really good. I thought they did a good job on that.
Mutant Mayhem, Devin.
Oh, Mutant Mayhem. Yeah, that's what I thought he was talking about. Sorry. Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought it was good. I feel like I think you also said in the TMNT one too. I think that one would have been cool as live action as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the art style was unique, and I also think it's like good. I agree. Y'all said it was good world building. I agree. I think a live action would be cool too. Okay. And the new Shredder looks insane. Go ahead.
I'm gonna weigh in on Mutant Mayhem because because the animation style was so similar to Into the Spider-Verse. I don't think it would do good as a live action because a lot of it played on their weird art style. So this is also based on my limited knowledge of TMNT.
Oh man, you know what I got? I got boxes of the original comics at my parents' house up in Oregon. Mm-hmm. They're worth like a mint. These are the original first issue black and white copies that came out. I'm missing issue 1 and 2, but I have issues 3 through 12 or something, and yeah, they're worth quite a buck.
Yeah. I can't reach it right now, but on my bookshelf, I have the TMNT volumes of the original run, volumes 1 and 2, with the original black and white cover. I need to try to get 3. I've been working on other stuff. I'm a big Spider-Man collector too, so like I've been on a weird Spider-Man hyper focus.
I've got the original Godzilla, Marvel Godzillas from the 70s.
Those are so yeah, I love those.
Okay. I'm a big Universal Monsters fan. What is your favorite classic monster movie?
I'm gonna go with the Creature from the Black Lagoon just because I love the creature. But I went back and watched a lot of those recently, and they're good and they're short. It's kind of weird. But I dig the Wolfman. I kind of don't like Larry Talbot is the Wolfman, right? And that's
Hold on a minute. Was it Larry or John? I thought it was John, but John may be the father
I think
in.
yeah, and then the brothers in there too. But like that's the problem with the new Wolfman is that it's not that story, and everybody thought it was gonna be. It's like just a guy that drags his wife and kid up to a mountain where he knows that like a wolf creature is running around. I was like, why would you pull your kids up there? So yeah, I always liked the Invisible Man. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Creature from the Black Lagoon. At Ross Dress for Less, why they had these like incredible action figures of the Universal monsters, just hanging out there for $3.99. I was like, what are you guys doing here? So yeah, I grabbed the Creature because
I used to have one of the original toys from the Creature of the Black Lagoon.
I had those.
It is like in pieces now because it's been passed through my family so many times.
The little action figures, or
yes.
Yeah, I had all of. There was 2 sets of 4, I think, and I had the set that had Dracula and the Creature and Frankenstein, and there was one other one. No, maybe it was just those 3. Yeah,
I had Frankenstein, the Creature, and I think those were the only 2 I had because they were like passed down through the family. Like here's a toy to go play with.
That's cool though.
One of those.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Shogun Warrior yesterday, and the Godzilla. The fist that would just pop off. Like he'd just be laying there at night and his fist would pop off and fly through the room.
God, awesome. Another tick that opened up a core memory. I was watching last night, and my dad were talking about this, was the Star Wars Boba Fett rocket launcher.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's a video we just put out.
Yeah.
With the non-firing missile, with the Battlestar Galactica missiles. We, as kids, had me and my brother, I had the Cylon ship, and my brother had the Rebel ship.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we would shoot those at each other. I must have been 7 or 8 at the time. I don't remember how old I was. I was about as old as that kid that choked on one of the missiles. So we were all scared. My mom's like, I don't know if you should play with these. Yeah, it was a big thing back then when that happened. We knew it.
Yeah, no.
And I remember waiting for that Boba Fett to come in the mail.
My dad did too. That's what my dad brought it up.
The little white box.
Mm-hmm.
You'd just be so excited to see that because it happened a couple of times. They did Boba Fett. I remember the Emperor from Return of the Jedi was one I was waiting for. Oh, and they had Anakin. Like at the end of the original Return of the Jedi, now they have Hayden Christensen in there as Anakin.
But, yeah, near the end.
Yeah, when the original movie came out, it was like the old Anakin. And that was a mail-in figure. I remember, and you're like, oh, it's just an old man in a robe. Why do I want this? But it was exciting. I think Admiral Akbar was the first one from Return of the Jedi that you got in the white box. So we just always knew that white box was coming, and it took forever to show up back then. 6 to 8 weeks seemed like an eternity back then.
Oh, man. Okay. So the next question we have here is, what song could you have on repeat for a whole year? That you could just listen to it nonstop for a whole year and not get sick of it.
Oh, that's easy. What was I? There was one I was just listening to. Well, there's the one from a Night Flight Orchestra that's been in my car playing. I'll tell you what it is. Hold on one second. It was one of the. What now? What is this? Here we go. It was the The Shooting Velvet, I think. No. Let's just go with Shooting Velvet. I know I listened to that over and over again. Now, there was like the Skating Polly album that came out before the latest album. There was hold on. I'm not good with song names. So let me see here. I'm looking on my phone. The record was called the Make It All Show. You guys don't know Skating Polly?
I do not, but
Mm-mm.
And
normally when people are like, "Hey, you guys should check this out," we normally check them out, or at least I do.
yeah, actually, that was they don't have the song that I really like on here. EPs. Oh, maybe it's on the EP. Yeah, it's not on here at all. Louder in Outer Space, that song. I could listen to that 1,000 billion times. That's the name of the song. Louder in Outer Space by Skating Polly. Anything off the Peeping Tom album by Mike Patton. Anything off of Angel Dust by Faith No More. I could listen to any of those songs over and over again for an entire year.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Dr. Scream, that was pretty much our last question, but where can the people find you at home?
Oh, well, do you want my home address?
I meant where the people at home can find you on all social media platforms.
Hey, listen, you can find me at the Albertsons in Alhambra. I'll be wearing an Adidas tracksuit, and if you come up to me and say, Dr. Screams, I know who you are, I will give you a VHS tape of my choosing with my signature on it. Sounds like, so you should go hunt me down at the Alhambra. You know, doing YouTube, I have to do the Uber Courier, to be correct. Not Uber Eats. I don't know if Uber Courier is new. So, like, they have me taking crazy things to crazy people all day long. Like, I took these cheap tuxedos to this underground enclave of people that were going into hiding. It was pretty weird. And then right after that, I took a stack of mashed potatoes to this actress that was in a hotel. You're looking at me like I'm crazy right now. This is true. You can get on Uber Courier, and the people that are using Uber Courier are just like, it's because they need something right now, and you get it for them and you bring it to them. You make a lot of money doing it because they tip well. You need a side hustle. That's what it is. These experiments.
Oh no, I DoorDash, and I've.
Where you can find me, I'm sorry. We're on YouTube at Let's Scream. We're on X at Let's Scream with 4 M's. And we're on Instagram at Let's Scream with 3 M's. We do that because I think other people had Let's Scream. We're not associated with the Let's Scream podcast on YouTube, which is 2 people doing horror podcasts, which is okay to be mixed up with them. They're just podcasters, so I don't mind if somebody gets us mixed up. But just to make it clear, we're not associated with that podcast. My Let's Scream is not associated with that Let's Scream, and our Let's Scream's been around longer. So, if you're making a podcast or a YouTube, just do a double check and make sure somebody doesn't have your name that you want to use, and find a new one, because otherwise people get you mixed up. I'm also not associated with Dr. Screams in there's a Dr. Screams ride out in where was Eastbound and Down take place?
Oh, I can't think of it on top of my head neither.
You know what I'm talking about, right? It's right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think about it.
Yeah, it's a drop ride. It's in Orlando.
The place they make fun of all the time. Myrtle Creek. That's where Dr. Scream. I'm not associated with Dr. Screams in Myrtle Creek. So, just so you know, that's another haunted ride. I don't even know if that's around anymore. But yeah, you can find us on all the social medias. We've got some big stuff coming up. We've got the Goonies video. We've got a movie or a video about twin films coming up. We have an exciting video that I love. That's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the Power Rangers. Have you guys seen that episode of the Power Rangers? A lot of people don't know this exists.
But I have Devin has sent me clips.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. It's one of my favorite episodes.
So we have a whole like expose on that, and then we have a video coming out about slime, the history of horror and slime, and then we have fast food mascots that people forgot about. A lot of good stuff coming up this year. And then, yeah, if you're in the Alhambra area and you need something courier, just hit me up and old Dr. Screams will run it up there to you. So
Okay.
find me in the
Uh,
streets.
And as always, guys, you can come check me out on my podcast, the More Sports Podcast, the sports podcast for everybody, and as well as our movie review podcast, Popcorn Buckets, where we review a new movie every Sunday. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Random Incorporated, where you can watch the video version of this episode as well as the other content creators we brought on this show. And hey, subscribe to us on social media. We're on Instagram as Rando Bucket Boys. And hey, we're on Twitter as Rando Corporate One. Dr. Scream, you have any last words?
Did you guys watch One of Them Days yet?
You said one of them days?
I think it's called One of Them Days or just One of Them Days. The two girls that need to get the rent for their house.
Oh,
Movie that came out.
I have not.
It's amazing. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. We don't get enough comedies, and this movie is super funny. So you guys should check that out and review that one. I think it's still in theaters. Sticking around.
Okay.
It just came out
Okay.
a week or two ago. So
I'll
everybody
have to
go
look
check
that
that movie out. Oh, and go see Flow. That should win all the Academy Awards. That animated
Yeah.
movie about the cat.
yes. I think I saw that too on like YouTube ads the other day.
That movie is amazing. Anyways, that's all I got to say. Thanks, guys. I love you guys' podcast. Keep it up.
All right. Until next time, everybody.